I call upon the spirit of the owl, messenger of wisdom. Welcome to the Temple of the Owl. Merry meet, seekers of knowledge. I am Matt's Owl. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Sending you guys some good positive vibes your way. If you need it out there today, make sure that everyone's having a blessed day. Here at the Temple of the Owl, located deep in the forests of Northern California. In this episode, we will discuss cats and history and how they're connected to magic. This is where we talk about magic and spirituality on all levels, but it's through the perspective of a modern witch. As always, these are just ideas to help you live a magical life and make you think about things differently. Take the information and do what you want. Feel free to adapt or change anything that works for you. I want to thank you guys for listening on Spotify and YouTube. Special thank you guys listening on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Check out templeoftheowl.com and also troubledminds.org. And I'm inviting you guys to head over there and listen to our conversations with Michael Strange. And thank you for all of you guys at Troubled Minds fam. You know who you are. Thank you guys for listening. Well, I like to start the show with what I call the MOD, the message of the day. And it's a quote I find that helps me explain the show's topic. And today, we're talking about cats, one of my favorite animals. And I have this quote, it's funny, I want to share. And the quote is, "In ancient times, cats were worshipped as gods. They have not forgotten this." And that's from Terry Pratchett. And I like that quote. It's funny because it makes sense to me, seeing how cats were worshipped around the world back in the day. But there's something in the way that a cat looks at you, like the stillness and the patience, the feeling that you're being watched by something older than language. For thousands of years, humans have believed that cats move between worlds, between night and day, and between life and death, between the seen and the unseen. Now we're exploring the magical connection between cats and witches, and from an ancient past to modern practice, because the bond between witches and cats did not begin in fairy tales. It began in temples. Our story begins in ancient Egypt, where cats were not feared, they were revered. In Egyptian households, cats were protectors. They guarded grain from the rodents and snakes. They kept disease and famine at bay. But their importance went beyond survival. Cats became sacred. The goddess Basset was depicted as a lioness or a domestic cat. She represented protection, fertility, and joy, and the quiet power of the feminine strength. The temples to Basset housed large populations of cats. When a family cat died, it was often mummified, and families shaved their eyebrows in mourning. Killing a cat, even accidentally, could be punishable by death. Now, this is one of the earliest known examples of humans forming a spiritual bond with animals. And archaeology tells us something fascinating, that cats were not originally domesticated the way that dogs were from wolves. Instead, during the rise of agriculture in the Fertile Crescent, wild cats were drawn to human settlements. Why? Because grain attracted rodents, and rodents attracted cats. Humans tolerated the cats, and the cats tolerated humans. It was a mutual agreement. Now, recent discoveries, including ancient burials in places like Cyprus, show that humans and cats were living together as early as 9,000 years ago. This relationship was built on independence, not obedience. Unlike dogs, cats never fully surrendered their wildness, and their independence would later become both their power and their danger. As Christianity spread through Europe, attitudes towards magic and animals changed. Animals connected to feminine deities or pagan traditions became suspect, and cats, especially black ones, became associated with night and female independence and the unseen. By the Middle Ages, rumors spread that witches could transform into cats and send cats to spy on neighbors or use cats to carry curses. In some religions, cats were believed to be shape-shifting witches. Now, as fear became deadly during European witch hunts, thousands of cats were killed. Ironically, some historians suggest that the decline in cats may have contributed to rodent populations and the spread of disease, including the Black Death. But fear disrupted the animal balance. The idea of the witch's familiar appears in many European trial records. Familiars were believed to be animal companions, spiritual allies, and messengers between the worlds. And I believe in that. But the concept was more complex than popular image. In folklore, a familiar was not always a physical animal. It could be a spirit in an animal form, like the owl, a guide in dreams, or a manifestation of intuition. Now, cats became more common familiar because of their behavior. They move silently, they see in the darkness, and they seem to stare into invisible space. They respond to things that humans could not perceive, and they are liminal beings. They exist between. Now today, in modern witchcraft traditions, the cat is less of a servant and more of a companion. Many practitioners believe cats sense energy shifts and respond to ritual environments. They gravitate towards sacred spaces and protect the home energetically. Some witches will say their cats sit near altars, interrupt rituals at key moments, and react to unseen presences. Whether mystical or psychological, the bond is real, and modern witches often see cats as emotional anchors, meditation companions, and guardians of personal space. The symbols of sovereignty and intuition. The relationship is based on mutual respect, just like it was thousands of years ago. But the truth is, cats never stopped being mysterious. They sleep more than most animals. When they do, they enter altered states. They move in silence, and they watch what we cannot see. They are comfortable in the darkness. They do not seek approval. They choose when to connect. And they remind witches of something essential, that power does not need to be loud, and magic does not need to be obvious. Protection does not need to be aggressive. Sometimes it only needs to be present. So the next time a cat watches you from across the room, just remember that this bond stretches back thousands of years, from the temples of ancient Egypt to medieval villages and to modern altars. The cat has always walked beside the witch, not as a tool, not as a servant, but as an ally, a witness, the guardian of the threshold. And throughout history, cats have not only been seen as magical companions, but also healers and protectors of energy. One of the most fascinating and mysterious aspects of the cat is their purr. It's a sound that many witches, mystics, and even scientists believe holds powerful healing properties. In ancient times, especially in ancient Egypt, cats were sacred and connected to the goddess Bastet. She was the protector of the home and spiritual balance. Now, Egyptians believed that cats could absorb negative energy and restore harmony, and that their purring was thought to be a form of spiritual medicine. Now, modern science has only begun to explore what ancient people already seemed to understand intuitively. A domestic cat, known scientifically as Felis catus, produces a purr that vibrates between 25 and 150 hertz. The range is incredibly significant because it has been shown to promote bone healing, reduce inflammation, lower stress and anxiety, and support tissue regeneration and calm the nervous systems. Some researchers even believe that this is why cats recover from injuries faster than many other animals. They're putting their own purr that may help them heal. For witches and magical practitioners today, the purr is often seen as a vibrational cleansing tool. Many believe that when a cat lies on your chest, stomach, or near the place of pain, it is intentionally directing its healing frequency. It's not uncommon for witches to say their familiar knows when they are sick, grieving, or energetically drained. Now, spiritually, the purr can be understood as a grounding frequency, a form of energetic protection, a way to shift stagnant or negative energy, a natural sound meditation. And some practitioners even incorporate their cat's presence into ritual work. During meditation, spell work, or ancestor communication, the rhythmic purring can help deepen trance states and strengthen intuition. There's also a belief that cat's purr is a response to spiritual activity. Many witches report their cats being calm and purring during rituals, while other times reacting to unseen energies in a space. This reinforces the long-held idea that cats walk between the worlds, living partly in the physical and partly in the spiritual. And if you want to connect with this energy, you can try this simple practice. Sit quietly with your cat. Place one hand gently on their body as they purr. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine the vibration moving through your body, releasing tension, clearing fear, and restoring your spiritual balance. You may begin to notice subtle shifts, warmth, tingling, or an emotional release, or a sense of peace. In many ways, the cat's purr reminds us that magic doesn't always come from complicated rituals. Sometimes it comes from presence, a vibration, and the deep bond between human and familiar. Now, I do believe that cats' purr and kneading helps heal us, and that cats protect us from unseen spirits in our sleep. Many spiritual traditions assign symbolic meanings to different colored cats. Black cats are seen as symbols of protection, mystery, and good fortune. Now, despite superstitions that portray them negatively, now white cats may represent purity, healing, or spiritual clarity. Orange cats are sometimes associated with creativity and confidence. And gray cats can symbolize balance, wisdom, and adaptivity. The meanings of symbolic are universal, but they vary widely between cultures and individual practices. Now, some people claim that they could perceive the aura of animals during meditation or intuitive practice. Others believe the aura is sensed rather than seen visually. Scientific evidence confirming that auras exist, but I believe in that because I've seen it. Now, for many witches, the value lies less in providing a phenomenon. It's more about paying close attention to the relationship they share with their animal companions. For thousands of years, cats have been regarded as companions of witches and guardians of sacred spaces. Whether you see their aura as a spiritual energy field or simply as quiet confidence that they carry, cats have a remarkable way of reminding us that there is often more to the world than meets the eye. For many witches, the mystery itself is part of the magic. Cats continue to inspire folklore and spiritual reflection, even if different traditions explain their qualities in different ways. And I believe that they say cats have 8 chakras. Now, a human body has many different chakras, but as witches, we mostly focus on the 7 main ones that go up our spine. The cats have an 8th chakra located on the back of their neck, where their haunches. And I thought that was interesting. Now, let's talk about some of my experiences with my cats. Now, I've lived around cats most of my adult life, and I've witnessed the power. And that's why I wanted to call this episode The Enchanted World of Cats. Now, here's some of my personal cat stories. A few years ago, I had this one cat, and we lived in an apartment complex. And we were going on a trip. So we took our cat to our friend's house to sit our cats while we were gone. When we went to go to bed that night, I could swear that me and my wife heard a cat playing in our house with the cat toys, running up and down the stairs. I could feel the vibrations through the house and even hear the cat meowing. But there was no way that those noises could happen because there was not a real cat in my house. And we went to bed listening to a ghost cat playing in our house. Now, later on, we had 2 cats, and they were best friends. Now, my first cat, Azula, the one I was talking about in the apartment, she got old, and she was dying of cancer. So I made an appointment to the vet later that day. And I stayed with her, and we spent her last hours together. And I knew the vet was going to have to put her down. But before she made it to her appointment, she passed away in my arms. Now, this was my first cat, and it was a very intense moment for me. I looked her in the eyes, and I watched it happen. When it happened, I was sitting on the edge of my bed. Now, after that, my second cat began to sit at the edge of the bed at that exact spot and look up as if she was looking for her friend. She never did that before. Now, after that I had my last outside cat. I had several outside cats, and they protected the house from mice. But after I had the last cat, he died of cancer. And the next day, we had a ton of mice in our backyard because we lived by empty fields. And so I asked, I asked the universe for another cat to come to me. And so a few days later, a new cat came. It appeared in my backyard, and it took me in as her human. And she scared all the mice away again. I took her to the vet to get her spayed, and they told me that she was already pregnant. So I made a shelter in my shed, and she had kittens a few months later. And that's when I noticed how cats are connected to the moon cycles. And cats have their litter every 2 full moons. How cats are connected to the moon cycles gives me a new perspective on how cats and nature are part of our world. Cats are crepuscular animals, meaning that they are most active at dawn and dusk, when light levels are low. This evolutionary adaptation for hunting. Many of their wild ancestors, prey, and predators are less active at these times. The moon's light can enhance visibility for cats. There's a reflective layer in their eyes that amplifies available light. And I just want to tell those stories, talk about some cats. I know a lot of people, love cats. There are many other familiars to the witch, but I feel like cats are one of the ones that are most like the stereotypical familiar for a witch. Well, I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys have cats? Do you guys like cats? Should I do other episodes more about familiars and the animal kingdom? Just trying to get some information out there, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Do all things. YouTube, Spotify. Check out templeoftheowl.com, troubledminds.org. Until next time, trust the quiet, honor the unseen, and if a cat chooses you, listen. Now, thank you for journeying with me tonight through the Temple of the Owl. Check out templeoftheowl.com. I release the spirit of the owl. Thank you guys. Blessed be.